What's going on, everyone? The Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics will play game one of the NBA Finals today. And the big question is, who is going to win this, right? Well, according to statistics, thanks to ESPN's Basketball Power Index, the Celtics have an 86% chance of beating the Golden State Warriors. That is ridiculous. I mean, that makes the Celtics like one of the biggest favorites ever, especially considering how good the Warriors are. And yes, the Celtics have a lot of benefits. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Tatum is a monster. Jaylen Brown is a monster. Marcus Smart is a monster. They have those three that are just, you can count on them night in and night out. And they are big. They are defenders. They are athletic. They have all the intangibles you would want for a team to win an NBA Finals. But it's not like the Warriors are a slouch. They have all kinds of experience, more experience than any other team in the league as far as playing in an NBA Finals, what is necessary to win an NBA Finals, and just having the skill sets that this team has. I mean, the Warriors, as great as Boston's defense is, and we'll find out in game one, but the Warriors have so many offensive weapons, it's ridiculous. I mean, you have Steph Curry, you have Klay Thompson. That has been the staple of the Warriors offense for years now, right? Well, now you got Jordan Poole, who is another guy that can get you 30 night in and night out and just get hot and completely change the pace of the game. You still have Draymond, who does Draymond things, and he can, guard multiple positions, and he can be a huge factor, right? He's a guy that does all the dirty work and loves it. He embraces it. He's going to get under people's skin. He's gonna be that nuisance. The Warriors also have a plethora of wings that they can throw at Tatum and Brown and things like that, which is what they did to like Luka and stuff, right? Just make it difficult. You're not going to stop him. He's still going to get his 25 or whatever, but instead of going, 12 for 20, make him go 12 for 25. And now you really are in a great position. And the Warriors are just, they're stacked front to back. They have so much depth. They have so much talent. But I think more than anything, it is the experience that they have, the consistency that they have. Andrew Wiggins can guard multiple positions. He really stepped up. It was like he finally broke out of his shell in this playoff run. We saw him just kind of take over games in many ways. And it's like the Warriors sort of reached their stride as the playoffs were going on, right? It was like this Warrior team is like, they seem like they'd be good, but they're not like great. And it was like, okay, wow, they are pretty good. Wow, like they are really good. And it's just like now we're in the finals and you have this team with experience, the discipline, the coaching, the championship pedigree. They've won finals. They've been there. It's a team that their offense is very free flowing. It's unlike anything that the Boston Celtics have faced in the playoffs. And don't get me wrong, the Boston Celtics had a much tougher road to get to the NBA Finals. So I'm not trying to take anything away from Boston. I would not be surprised at all if Boston ends up winning the series. I just think personally, Golden State is going to be too much to handle. I think that they will make the adjustments. They will do what's necessary. As great as, Ime Udoka is as a coach this season, he's still inexperienced. He doesn't have the experience as a first-time head coach to really be that guy to make the adjustments. He's done a great job. I'm not taking anything away from him. But is he going to be able to out-coach and out-adjust Steve Kerr? That's seen pretty much everything, right? He's seen every type of scheme that any team could throw at the Warriors, and the Warriors just always overcome it. And the problem is we've seen the Golden State Warriors. They're a team that they're never out of it. They could be down 25, and in a quarter, all of a sudden, it's a tie game. And you're like, what just happened? And it's because they just have these guys that can just go off. And it's like once they hit one, that's it. Now they're hitting 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. You got multiple guys that can knock down multiple threes in a row. And it's just like they're a team that we saw what Boston did with Miami. As great as their defense was, Miami got a lot of wide open threes. And that wasn't by design. That was just, they weren't switching properly. They were moving the ball. But Miami was very predictable. It was a very stagnant offense where the Warriors are very free flowing. And those open shots that Miami got, you best believe the Warriors are going to knock down those shots. So of course, the Celtics are really going to have their work cut out for them when they're playing the Warriors. They're going to have to go around multiple screens. I mean, Steph Curry is the best player in the NBA when he's off the ball. He is a bigger threat off the ball than he is on the ball, which is ridiculous to think about. And you're constantly chasing him around. You're wearing, the defenders are constantly getting wore down. They have bodies to throw at their guys. Boston's offense is very predictable. You know what their offense is going to be. You know what schemes they're going to play. It's a lot of isolation. It's get Tatum the ball, get Brown the ball. Hopefully Marcus Smart, he can be the guy that can get the offense going early, because when he gets the offense going early, they are a different team. But it's still a very, okay, here is their plan, here is their offense. Where the Warriors, night in and night out, several different times throughout the game, they're running completely different offensive sets. And you're just like, how do you keep up? How do you figure it out? How do you adjust? And again, Boston, they are incredible. They are size. They have the size. They have the skill set. They're young. They're hungry. They match up very well with the Golden State Warriors. I mean, very well. But I worry about their lack of consistency. I mean, we saw it the entire playoffs. The Celtics lost games that they should have easily walked into a win, and they blew it. They almost blew it against the Heat, up 13 with like 3 minutes left. And Jimmy Butler, if he knocks down that shot, we might be having a completely different conversation. I mean, the Celtics have lost every series, at least 1 or 2 games that they should have won. It's just they've clearly been the best team that they've played. And so therefore, it's like, okay, they're going to overcome it. Like, they should have won this series in 5, but they'll win it in 6. They should have won this series in 6, but they'll win it in 7, and we've seen that. I don't think you can do that against the Warriors. I don't think the Warriors are going to blow them out and sweep or anything like that. Like, I've seen people talk about sweeps or win in 5. I wouldn't be surprised if they won in 5. I really wouldn't. But I think realistically, I think the Warriors win in 6 games. I'm actually really surprised the Celtics are huge favorites in that sense. Now, granted, it's ESPN's like ranking system and stuff, so they're more wrong than right most of the time. But you would think it'd be at least a little closer. I don't have an issue with the Celtics being favored. I just think that is an astronaut. I mean, you're talking 86%. That is ridiculous. I mean, the Celtics are playing the Warriors, who many believe are the best team in the league from the jump. They're not playing the Cavs or something like that, which, the Cavs are good, they're young, but they're not the Warriors. They're playing a team that very likely they're going to lose to. And I just think the lack of experience, the predictability are all going to be huge negatives for the Celtics. I think that they'll have that game, where they just go off, right? You'll have that game where the Celtics, maybe they win by 25 or something crazy like that. I think they'll also have the game where, the Warriors they're just not knocking down shots. It's just a bad game for them. I think those are the 2 that they win. But I think if you go head to head, especially in crunch time, the Celtics have had a tough time closing games out, especially with leads. I think if every game is, 5-point difference, whether the Celtics are up or not, I think the Warriors win those games. Maybe they lose 1, but I think, if you say the first 5 games it's a 5-point difference with like a minute and a half left, I think the Warriors win at least 4 out of those 5 rather easily. I think, that's going to be a big factor, and many things we're going to have to see. I think the Celtics are an incredible team. They were the best team since the beginning of the new year, right? I mean, they were sub 500 and then went on this ridiculous run into the playoffs and then continued that run through the playoffs. So they're no slouches, but they're young. They've never been there. They're inexperienced. They're predictable. They make a lot of mistakes. They're inconsistent. They don't do the things that they'll get a big lead and then they just completely get away from the stuff that got them the big lead. And we've seen it night in and night out, time and time again. I think that that's going to be a real struggle for them. I do think that they match up great. I think, the Warriors' biggest problem has been turnovers. They're very turnover happy. I think if the Celtics can play defense and force a ton of turnovers, it can be a real issue. Another thing you got to keep in mind, and this is kind of the last point, and then I'll pass the question on to you. But the last point I want to make is that the Golden State Warriors are like 15-1 all time when they win game 1. So if the Celtics don't win game 1, history says they're going to lose this series. So that's just something else to keep in mind for those that have waited this long in this video. And that being said, I pass the question on to you, as always. Who do you think wins game one tonight between the Celtics and the Warriors? And who do you think wins the NBA Finals? Like I said, I'm going with the Golden State Warriors. I just think that they have the experience. They're the better team from an offensive standpoint. I think the Celtics are a better defensive team, but offense wins games. And I just think that the Warriors have way too many weapons and too many offensive schemes and too many, favorable matchups that it's going to be very difficult for the Celtics. And I think that their experience is really going to help all of these things, where the Celtics, again, I would not be shocked at all. Like, if we could fast forward time and you told me, hey, the Celtics 1-6, Celtics 1-7, I would believe you. I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. But I think the Warriors take it in 6. That's my thoughts. But again, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear, what do you agree, whether you disagree, who do you got in this matchup? Are you happy to see the Warriors and Celtics? It's kind of cool. You got the legacy dynasty, and then you got the new modern era dynasty going head to head. I think that's pretty exciting. I think this was arguably the best option for the NBA. As far as the finals goes, you have the Warriors and you have the Celtics. I just think that you couldn't ask for a better finals if you're the NBA, and I think that it's going to be a great series either way. I hope not every game is a complete blowout, because we've kind of seen that. That's kind of been the pattern throughout these playoffs in both the East and West. It's like one team wins by 20 and then the next team wins by 20. And it's like there's haven't been a ton of really close games. It's just been blowout after blowout after blowout. So hopefully this finals matchup is actually it's down to the wire, and teams actually have to execute, and it's not like, oh, we're up 30, pull all the starters, let's go on to game 2, But that being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports, join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one.